organization design community is an interesting group because it's people that use those words, organization design, it's kind of a fragmented group. There's all kinds of people involved, and it's not really well structured and well defined. And I think part of the issue is that it's cross-disciplinary. And so anytime you have a topic that's cross-disciplinary and involves a lot of different things in an organization, there's very few real formal tracks. So the community is really a collection of leaders who are trying to change the systems in their organization or their organization, and frontline process improvement people who are redesigning some piece of the organization. So it includes them all, plus a whole lot of subject matter experts and consultants that help leaders make the changes necessary. So it's a crazy landscape, and includes just a whole lot of different people in it. So there's two frameworks one is embedded in the other. So there's a leadership framework that we call the leadership framework for organization architects, just so that it differentiates it from all the other leadership frameworks. But the leadership framework really took shape. It's the culmination of many years, a couple of decades worth of work, but it really took shape when I conducted a research study with CEOs who led successful transformations resulting in a Baldrige Award. And I chose that group because the Baldrige criteria requires that they create ever improving results across a comprehensive scorecard. So they can't be great just based on financials, or they can't be great just based on a great place to work or whatever. They have to be able to create a place that people are doing great work and enjoying their job, serving customers. Customers are delighted, so they come back and spend more money with us, repeat business. They bring their friends, referral business, and we grow the top line, and the investors are happy. And we also create win-wins with suppliers that help us do an even better job with customers. And then we do this in a way that the community loves to have us, because we're doing it in a way that's conscious of the community and society we're in, and ethical. And we're doing it in a way that's good for the natural environment, which is really the future generations. And so we avoid stealing from future generations. So that's why I chose the Baldrige Group. And we studied CEOs and how they led their transformations over the protracted period of time, because most of their journeys took 5 to 10 years sometimes to fully transform a company. And they made progress and got results along the way, but the full transformation took a while. Well, we studied them and we talked to them and inductively built a framework that was common to them, that had the common elements that they used to lead the journey. And so that's the genesis of it. It came from that. And then we've infused it with all the application experience that we've had over the years. And now we continue to develop it and refine the application of it. There is a higher level of sustainability. There's been a few cases that they didn't do so well after winning the award and weren't able to sustain it. In those cases, when you dig into them, it was almost something was explainable from an external environment perspective. And so Baldrige Award companies are really great at learning. They're really great at making the system work and getting it all lined up and high performing. But it's not a panacea for external factors that, you don't predict. And while Baldrige companies that are doing it well are often better at predicting what's going on in the external environment, there's some that still get surprised, and things happen that are beyond their control that have made them lose track. So there's one group, a very small group of a few sensational cases, where major market factors they declined in performance. There's another group that leadership changed, and they stopped pursuing excellence as a conscious effort. In other words, they had these great systems in place, but they stopped pursuing it and creating new goals, and they took their eye off the ball, if you will. And those organizations tended to level off and or decline, because you stop pushing the organization to move forward and entropy takes over and it declines. And so it requires, to stay there requires continual learning. Well, the majority of Baldrige organizations that I'm familiar with have built learning loops into their systems. And so it became part of not only their systems, but their culture. And that became something that they continued on because the world changes on us. So there's no point where we can say, okay, we know the answer of how this company should run and we're done, right? So a design is never finished. We're always rethinking the design of the company and reinventing it because the world around us is changing. And in fact, we're facing a really big shift these days with the whole digital aspect of business and which creates great possibilities for us, but also creates great challenges for organizations. And if we're not redesigning to take advantage of the technology, you can bet our competitors are. So it's a continuous thing. So all of them haven't continued. Baldrige is not perfect and it's not a panacea. It's a great set of questions to help you learn. But if you take your eye off the ball and stop using it to learn, you're going to experience the same kind of decline anybody else would. So Baldrige organizations aren't bulletproof. They're just good role models, and they're companies we can learn from. And they're companies that are doing it in a way that creates a balanced set of results. So they're not just taking from one to make something else happen for a short-term period of time, which is not sustainable in the just keep it going sense of the word.